Kuzampo, this is Bhutan This Week with Kezawangmo. Our top stories this week. Bhutan and 6 other BIMSTEC member states adopt master plan for regional transport connectivity. Bumthang issues 18-month notice to relocate Chamkar town, and ACC suspends 5 business licenses for alleged corrupt practices. Bhutan and 6 other BIMSTEC member states adopted a master plan for regional transport connectivity in Sri Lanka on Wednesday. The BIMSTEC master plan for transport connectivity will provide a framework which will help the 7 member nations develop international transport linkages and services. The Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectorial Technical and Economic Cooperation, or BIMSTEC, is a regional multilateral organization comprising of Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Thailand.
The master plan identifies multi-modal connectivity projects between BIMSTEC sub-regions through means such as air, land and sea for greater regional integration. It will seek to combine shipping routes with road transport for the movement of people and cargo.
With today's adoption, member states can now identify and start prioritizing connectivity projects. And member states now can also have projects or a basis to dialogue with potential development partners such as World Bank, Asian Development Bank and any other agencies to take up these projects.
The master plan indicates 267 projects in the member states focusing on construction, expansion and modernization of transport infrastructure.
I can't remember all the projects in the master plan, but the 2 I can remember that can be jointly taken up with India is the development of rail connectivity from Kokrajhar to Gelivu to Parthala, Nganglam and Rangia. And the second one I remember is a project from Banarhat to Samchi to Hansimara to Phinsoling.
Addressing the summit virtually, Prime Minister Dr. Lote Sring highlighted the need to exhibit an ideal and efficient trading system through the BIMSTEC platform. The Prime Minister said the intra-regional trade has seen only negligible improvement since its inception.
Minimal growth could be attributed to bilateral engagements at national or at private sector level and not necessarily through BIMSTEC platform. Therefore, to enhance trade in the region, concrete steps and initiatives, be it big or small, must be taken beyond formalities. This is true that landlocked countries like Bhutan and Nepal will benefit more through such advancements. But I am sure this will also be a success story for BIMSTEC.
The Prime Minister also highlighted digital connectivity, security front, and climate change as key priorities post-pandemic. Meanwhile, the BIMSTEC Charter, along with 3 other legal documents, was signed during the summit. Samten Dolkar, BBS News.
The opposition party has called for the government to focus on economic and private sector recovery measures. The party also said that the government must expedite works and complete the hydropower projects in the country.
The opposition shared several statistics such as decline in the economic growth from almost 6% in 2019 to negative 10% in 2020. All of this, the party stated, indicates the economy is in a bad state and paving a way for its revival has become vital.
Natira Penjurgi lede sorim kachishura the sanam imbe the zotin tashil zakhanda zodatukang sonle chunkuta Burma the lengatrigi logmitukang the dizubengati satrigi lajusimela dani jisulu tis the sorim digdigibe shutendigibe chala nambajin the penlap the joksochi dubde the bomsochi be jung sishunila.
The party also strongly suggested the government to work on concrete and serious fiscal and financial measures, both budgetary and taxation matters, and submit them to the parliament. It also advised on working closely with the central bank on monetary and credit measures. In a second press release, the opposition said the government must complete the Punatsanchu 2 and Nekachu hydropower projects by mid of next year and expedite the other hydropower projects. This, they said, is in order to mitigate fiscal deficits in the short term and stay steadfast on the course of economic self-reliance in the long run. Kinzang Haden, BBS News.
The Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, handed over farm machinery worth 300 million yutum to the Agriculture Ministry recently. The ministry says this gift from the Japanese government will play a crucial role towards achieving food security.
The farm machinery includes 200 power tillers, 150 mini tillers, 30 tractors and 20 mini combined harvesters, along with their repair tools and spare parts.
On behalf of Ministry of Agriculture and Forests, on behalf of the Royal Government of Bhutan, I would like to thank Government of Japan and in particular thank JICA for always being with us in our march towards acquiring the food and nutrition security of Bhutan.
The machines will be distributed to the FMCL regional offices and GIOCs to make them available to the farmers for hiring services.
FMCL just now, they are initiating this program just to encourage the youth that there is also an enterprise, a business associated with this hiring or repair of the services. Eventually, when private sector take up these hiring services or repair of machines or sale of machines, definitely the FMCL will withdraw and then they will venture into other important activities which private may not be able to take it up.
The farm machinery is expected to greatly contribute to the country's efforts in farm mechanization and encourage youth participation. Cooperation in agriculture sector remains the hallmark of Bhutan-Japan relations since 1964, and Japan's economic assistance to Bhutan began during the fourth five-year plan. For Namgyongchuk in Paro, Chunitama for BBS News.
The Bumthang Zonghak recently issued an 18-month notice to the leaseholders in Chamkar town to relocate their businesses. That means within September next year, businesses will have to move to new town planning areas. The notification informs people to make necessary arrangements to avoid last-minute inconveniences. This has left the residents with divided opinions. Chamkar town is almost entirely established on state land.
There are 130 leaseholders in Chamkar town from various districts. All of them were given a 10-year lease in 2011. About half of them were provided newly built semi-permanent structures following the second major fire incident. Their lease term was given a 2-year extension last year. However, the National Land Commission or NLC and the Zonghak Land and Survey Sector conducted a joint inspection last year and found almost 70% of them have violated the lease agreement. Most of them had subleased their structures, meaning their structures were fully or partially given on rent. And some even sold their leased plots along with structures. Following the inspection, the Land Commission instructed the Zonghak Land Lease Committee to take action. Instead of terminating the lease agreement immediately, the committee decided not to extend the lease term from next year. The notification has left most of the town residents worried, and some of the lessees are planning to appeal to the Zonghak for an extension. Most of them refuse to comment on camera. On the other hand, landowners in the new local area plans of Chamkar, Jalikar and Digiling are welcoming the move.
거기 되든가 지금 막하고 배 라메스노 노미아오 인디베치리아 등아디 바나미 베심달레 데 야치디 가데베 조고비나 미치땅로 펜 가데베 도고비나 데 아니르 따다마진디 데 아니 로 슝기 슝기 라고타 미디아 데 레슈미 메스노노라
동원지기 날래기 람주 잡잡이 간레 막빨리 메체스 노멜라 디나더닐레 추차담달레 저유 디날로디 홈바야 두고 델루도 쭉 언니베소고 블레셔유 데다 침잡이 간렌 도 빔케고 베테티스야 데다 당발로 봄달로 도다 빔 토바남 스미강이 류라 데 공기 뒤틀리지아 질라 하동 신옥서지 담메 데마파 타질라 하담미 데 소제라 사철리디 줄링아 지봄달로 흰상사데 가독도 종 세위녹사단도 설준데
데다 남 조섭지 조결레 힘베 데 조식 남 예피 데 찹사기 땡기기 추기 아니 주스야 데 Tendi chita ani chilwa in simichi chungi so nama chin no dibe terawa ki dera deila te thompani ki te hebda di ngachi chamkap suki bo jindi na bora gases tebe nomala te khoma demi suki bo ti mara gasilam yani ni ki manalo ngachi minna bimi ki kane shumisubla te ta khora shungi kadbe de rutubla.
As per the 2015 Bhutan Valley Master Plan, the new townships in Jalikar, Chamkar and Dikiling aim at diversifying equal economic opportunities. The Dzongkhag administration said it would fast-track planning and mapping work for new house construction at the new township areas. The Dzongkhag administration said around 90% of the internal road construction works are complete and base course laying works at Chamkar would begin soon. Blacktopping works on double-lane primary roads with streetlights and footpaths from Jalikar to Jambilhakang and Tamjing are also complete. Internal road improvement works such as blacktopping, drainage and sewer construction would take place as and when the relocation picks up. The existing town area in Chamkar has been identified for the construction of a new municipal office and other facilities like children's park. Meanwhile, Bhutan is likely to see a construction boom in the next 6 months or so, adding pressure on resources such as sand, stone and timber. The notification is also expected to fuel land prices on already increasing rates. Currently, a decimal of land in Bhutan town costs around 150,000 ngitam on average compared to around 90,000 ngitam last year. For Kipchin Bumta, Sringdandup, PBS News.
Phuntsholing students and staff relocated at Punakha are all being called back. The Education Ministry announced this through a notification on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the parents and students expressed mixed feelings on the decision.
More than 850 students from 3 schools travelled towards Phuntsholing School in Punakha in August last year. Over 70 teachers and staff accompanied them. They were relocated due to the worsening COVID situation in Phuntsholing. Now the Education Ministry has said that they will be moved back to their respective schools in Phuntsholing. While most parents and students are happy, some feel that continuing the classes at Punakha would be better.
Ni digi bauni be netel go be nam sam sim gai ya bochin zedong yam tip joy na biochin chiga be da asnum joy se junivein la
lejum be ani noila sir gachi moslab da alu dis na bolu kha dibda de achi tab de langa chi lui tibe da achi ani nan pechalam ni dinlu da achi tab mi de langa
chi na pinchitang lo chona khibawe sim chiga is junila phom da pincha da chiga donbe za cha da chikara ga is junila ya titimela topper sudan namas जो थापे जो तो थापे सुबह ले शुम नाले भी अच्छे ना मैं चारों चिका म्यों चिटे का दले आये आपा चिका होगा दे आये आपा पेश मालक दे में दे मिश्र वाला चिटे का.
Meanwhile, the Tomte education sector of Phuntsholing has already started its preparation to bring back the students and staff. Schools in Phuntsholing will open for classes 7 and 8 from April 4. Meanwhile, classes PP to 6 will join school on April 18. The Tomte is yet to decide on the joining date for students of classes 9 and above. For Phnom Penh and Phuntsholing, Sangichizong for BBS News.
An overwhelming number of more than 1,500 people gathered in Institute for Management Studies in Thimphu to register for IELTS, English Language Proficiency Test. The registration came as a huge relief, particularly for young Bhutanese who have waited long to travel abroad for work and study. The Institute for Management Studies and Royal Institute of Management suspended the conduct of IELTS since early 2020 due to the pandemic.
Today, the institute has registered 800 people to sit for the test on 3 dates next month. People, mostly young, who came to register and refused to talk on camera said conducting IELTS exam inside the country comes as a huge relief.
201!
During the COVID situation, some Bhutanese have even travelled to India to sit for the test. Currently, the institute charges 17,500 itam for the test. Post-COVID, although the institute conducted a similar test last week, it could take in only 300 individuals.
Actually, during the pandemic time, the conduct of IELTS test was not possible because the examiners had to be brought in from India. We collaborate with IDP in India, a company, Australian company based in India. Our role is just to administer the test, but examiners and all the other human resources and other resources will have to be brought in from India.
The institute started conducting IELTS since 2013. Meanwhile, the Royal Institute of Management at Simtocha, another test center in the country, also plans to conduct IELTS towards the end of May in collaboration with British Council in Bangladesh. Samtun Dolkar, BBS News.
A clinical trial to test the efficacy and safety of warm acupuncture to treat sciatica, a usually chronic pain in the lower body, is being carried out in Thimphu. The trial began on 26th March and is being carried out at the Traditional Medicine Hospital. It is the first traditional medicine clinical trial in the country registered by the Research Ethics Board of Health.
Kilawangde is one of the patients undergoing warm acupuncture therapy to treat his long-standing pain in the lower part of his body.
The treatment orthogi ani kazume be physiotherapy then CT scan MRI sunga pakara anjum be lebindi so an very that some of the
warm acupuncture involves using heated needles. The study will evaluate the effectiveness of warm acupuncture to treat sciatica compared to modern medicine, specifically the gabapentin.
It aims at assessing the safety and efficacy of warm acupuncture in improving the pain severity, lower back pain, disability score, and quality of life in patients with sciatica. So in sciatica, warm acupuncture results in reduction of the symptoms by relaxing the tight muscles, improving blood circulation, and regulating central nervous system and neurotransmitter.
Sciatica refers to pain that radiates from the lower back through the hips and buttocks and down each leg. Sciatica mostly affects only one side of a person's body. 70 patients with sciatica will be recruited from the orthopedic outpatient department of the Jigme Dorjiwangchu National Referral Hospital for the study. Half of them will receive 3 sessions of warm acupuncture in a week. The other half will be given the gabapentin medication.
Recruitment of the participants are done from the Jigme Dorjiwangchu National Referral Hospitals. So if there are patients suffering from the sciatica, they are most welcome to come forward for the treatment. They can come to the orthopedic OPD at Jigme Dorjiwangchu National Referral Hospital.
He added, warm acupuncture has been reported to be effective in treating numerous diseases including sciatica by traditional medicine practitioners in several countries. The project is expected to be complete by June this year. Kinzang Haden, BBS News.
Human-wildlife conflict often makes headlines. People try all means to protect their farms by spending sleepless nights beating tin cans, shouting and patrolling the fields. Yet a good share of crops is lost to wild animals. This, however, is likely to change. The Agriculture Missionary Center in Paro has developed an automatic animal repellent.
This is how the prototype will work in the fields. A sensor is fixed in the mouth of the scarecrow that will pick up any movement. Upon spotting the movement, the scarecrow immediately flashes out light, followed by a loud sound. The owner will instantly receive a call from the SIM card installed in the controller about any suspicious intruder in the field. The prototype is programmed with the sounds of animals on the top of the food chain, such as a tiger or a bear, to scare away the animals.
All
in all, it will only cost less than 2,000 Newton. If you have to buy the full package from a neighboring country like India, it will cost 50 to 60,000. So we are optimistic that it will benefit our farmers.
Once we are quite clear, but the government will not be expanding it. So that's why we even enroll DESUPs under the DESUP skilling program, and plus FMCL, whose mandate is more focused into commercialization of the activities. So we trained the technicians of FMCL and also the youth. So our objective in the long run is they take up all this technology and do expansion and then let it reach to the farmers.
The center will continue incorporating other features in the prototype to prevent animals from getting habituated to it. This is because electric fencing, which was very efficient initially, has given way to wild intruders as the animals have adapted to it. For Namgyeonchu in Poro, Sanampem for BBS News.
The Anti-Corruption Commission has suspended the licenses of 5 businesses in 3 districts for alleged corrupt practices. The ACC's investigation found that the business entities allegedly evaded taxes by bribing customs officials.
As per the investigation, Ajay Enterprise in Pinseling allegedly bribed customs inspectors on duty at the mini dry port. The proprietor was found to have made several unexplained money transfers directly or indirectly to customs officials. The investigation revealed that the payments were made to avoid declaring goods by the importer. Another business entity in Pinseling, the Sonam Dolma Enterprise, was also found to have allegedly bribed customs inspectors for tax evasion and non-declaration of goods at the point of entry. According to the ACC, the elite enterprise in Thimphu had allegedly bribed a customs inspector for clearing goods of third country imports from the MDP. The ACC said, although all goods imported were taxable, the importer intentionally evaded possible taxes. The investigation also found that Gopal Tsongkha and Paurel Tsongkha in Tagana, that mostly dealt with import of betel nuts and leaves, were allegedly involved in multiple instances of bribing officials to evade taxes. They were also found to have allegedly forged documents and engaged in other deceptive practices. Although the entities are restricted from doing business, the Commission has given them a month to clear their existing stock. The ACC is in the process of gathering all reports and will soon forward the case to the Office of the Attorney General. For Kiledum, Yisha Gelson, BBS News.
Upholding the judgment passed by the larger bench of the High Court, the Supreme Court ordered 4 landowners in Jeju to accept compensation at the government rate for their land acquired by the Tromde. The Supreme Court passed the judgment on Monday. Of the 58 landowners whose land was identified under the development of the diplomatic enclave, 4 landowners refused to accept compensation at the government rate. They appealed to the Supreme Court last year.
The diplomatic enclave was planned in the Thimphu Structural Plan 2002-2027 for 16 embassies and missions. About 32 acres of land near the Indian Embassy at Jeju was acquired for the diplomatic enclave. The Land Act states that government may acquire registered land for the public interest. However, the legal representative of the landowners said that the land acquired was not intended for the public interest. To this, as submitted by the Tromde, the judgment states that the diplomatic enclave is important for the country. Bhutan, as a developing country, should ensure friendly relations to embrace development like any other country. As per the judgment, the landowners should be compensated as per the Property Assessment and Valuation Agency rates under the Finance Ministry like other landowners. While the landowners asked for the current commercial market rate for their land, the Tromde submitted that it is difficult to determine the market rate and the owners should be compensated at the government rate as per the Land Act. Moreover, the judgment stated that the land was acquired through the proper procedure as per the Constitution and the Land Act. According to the judgment, it was initially planned, passed through the cabinet and also notified the respective landowners about the need to acquire their lands. The court also ordered the 4 landowners to pay 45,000 Newton to the Tromde as litigation cost. For Kilidem, Sangichizom for BBS News.
The mood is all upbeat and uplifting for Paro FC these days, and it is obviously for a good reason. The team is gearing up for the upcoming Asian Football Confederation. It will play against Valencia Football Club of the Maldives. The match will be played on 5th of next month in the Maldives.
Prior to the match, the 21 players of Paro FC will train for almost a week in Delhi. They intend to focus on making the players adjust to a new climate and environment of a foreign country. The team will fly to Delhi on Monday. On the sidelines of the training, it will play 2 friendly matches with Sudeva Academy and Indian Football Club. If situation favors, 3 international players will join the team in Delhi. The club also recently signed a winger on loan from Transport United FC.
Tambo chikha jugal exposure important umola. Tenga china dubi alu ngachina yumisu tato namsim exposure mi la. Papa mi selab dera beru national team na yumi. Indar beru national team ngachi chikha namsi chawa juni mindi namsi exposure minala. Nani bendi ngachi no ila. Ta chikhale mis sumji yobachin Machigi alusu tele atsi conference level berumola. Atsi kungi conference level de build beve, kunda chihabe. Chabachin lejimbe chapsun se nodi, tamachipa dalilo, haptachi de chidi omala training chap accountaiz bevela. Tana hebigi rishijila.
The Paro FC, after its inception in 2018, qualified for the AFC Cup in 2020. So the club's coach has high expectations from the upcoming AFC Cup.
Valencia is not a very new club. It's one of the popular clubs in Maldives. They are a well-established club. But what we anticipate is that from our reviews and also analysis of the match, we have done a very good preparation. So we have analyzed their strengths and weaknesses as well, and we hope to give a good fight to them. We have definitely strengthened our squad, and then I feel that our squad now is better than what it was there in 2020.
The club underwent a month-long rigorous preparation in the containment zone in Paro. The captain of the team, 30-year-old Kinlewanchu, is optimistic that this strenuous preparation will work in their favor.
Containment training the advantage players training just maju the condition the weather this be achi
If the club emerges victorious in the first preliminary match, they will head into round 2, where they will face Bangladesh's Abahani Limited Dhaka FC. For Namgyewanchu in Paro, this is Pamela, PBS News.
And this is all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. Stay safe.